Buddham 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 Vande Dhammam 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 Vande Sangham 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 Vande Buddham Dhammam Sangham Vande Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gaccantu Devata Saddammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadam Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Cattaro me bhikkhave puggala santo samvijjamana lokasmin Katame cattaro Tamo-tama-parayana Tamo-jyoti-parayana Jyoti-tama-parayana Jyoti-jyoti-parayana Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I am going to discuss one of the discourses which comes in Anguttara Nikaya, the discourse of darkness in Pali. It says Tamo-tama-parayana Sutta. It comes in Anguttara Nikaya. The meaning of that sutta is that darkness. Okay, there are 4 types of people Buddha has explained in this discourse. And Buddha said, Cattaro me bhikkhave puggala santo samvijjamana lokasmin. There are 4 types of people that can be found in the world. They are, the first one is Tamo-tama-parayana. It means that one in darkness who is headed for darkness. And the second one is Tamo-jyoti-parayana. One in darkness who is headed for light. And Jyoti-tama-parayana, one in light who is headed for darkness. And Jyoti-jyoti-parayana, one in light who is headed for light. And when we read Buddha's discourses, many times that we can see Buddha has classified the people in the world in various ways. This is one of the ways that Buddha has classified the people in the world. Here Buddha has explained the nature of these people. What is the nature of the person that who in darkness, one in darkness who is headed for darkness? Yes, there are some reasons that we say them in darkness, that by birth they have a lot of disadvantages. They were born in lower realms, lower castes, and they have no enough facilities. Their parents have no enough opportunities, enough facilities, and sometimes they are sick, and also sometimes they are half blind. and they are ugly. They have no good appearance. And in birth, sometimes they have some illnesses, very serious illnesses. Sometimes they have been born in a very lower caste realms, which have no enough facilities. For example, nowadays also you can see there are some countries like Somalia, Ethiopia, and there are some countries who have no enough facilities. They are like that people. By birth, they are in darkness. Not only they are in darkness by birth, but after they were born, they do misbehaviors. That is why, that is the worst thing, that is the worst thing that they have. By birth, they have a lot of disadvantages, and also they do some physical or bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, and also mental misconduct. They engage in bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, and mental misconduct. Because of this misbehavior, after death, they will go to the lower realms. They will be reborn in the hells. That is the thing that Buddha has explained. The person who is born in darkness, and also they are headed for darkness.
There's no way they can get out of it?
Actually, when we discuss other persons, we can understand, okay? The second person, that Tamo-tama-parayana, by birth, they have the same disadvantages, but they are intelligent. And they have a chance to listen in what Buddha taught. And also by listening to Buddha's message, they do good deeds, mentally, physically, and verbally. That is the second part of the people. Now that is the answer. Yes. The first person, that not only they have disadvantages by birth, but they do misbehaviors. That is the worst thing. But second person is fortunate because they have a chance to listen into what Buddha taught. By listening to Buddha's message, they try to overcome their disadvantages in this life itself, not only hereafter. And they understand the karmic law. And also having some disadvantages, they try to overcome those disadvantages in this life. And they do good deeds, bodily, verbally, and physically. They do merits. They have a chance because of their intelligence. Although they have some disadvantages, that they have one thing, the important thing, that intelligence. Buddha doesn't say that they are ignorant, they are foolish, they are mad. Buddha doesn't say. They have no enough facilities, they are ugly, they are sick, but they are intelligent. And also, they are not deaf, they can hear. That is one of the advantages that they have. The third one, Tamo-tama-parayana, one in light who is headed for darkness. By birth, actually they have all advantages. They were born in rich families. Their parents are very rich. They are healthy. They have good appearance. They are intelligent. But especially because of the association of bad friends, they do misbehavior. They engage in bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct. Therefore, even though they were born in light, they are going to darkness. After death, they will be reborn in lower realms, in hells. The fourth one, that one in light who is headed for light, like you people. By birth, you have a lot of facilities. You have good parents, good appearance, healthy life, healthy body. You have all advantages. Not only you are lucky by birth, but you are headed for light. By listening to what Buddha taught, day by day, we develop our mind. We develop good deeds, physically, verbally, and mentally. We are the people who are born in light and who are headed for light. Those are the four types of people that Buddha has explained. There are some people when Buddha was living that they had a lot of disadvantages, like, there were some persons like Sunita, Sopaka, Rajumala, Sisagotami. They had a lot of problems. But because of listening to what Buddha taught, they could overcome those problems. They can achieve enlightenment. Sometimes they had not even literacy. But by birth, they were intelligent. Even though they had no enough education, enough money, they are intelligent. Now also there are some people, even though they didn't go to the universities, they create some new devices. For example, Stephen Holmes, he didn't go to university. But there are more than 300 new devices that he has patent, policy patent, Balapatre patent, Apple company, Steve Jobs. A lot of things that we use of his effort. Even our phone, there are a lot of devices that he created by himself. And by birth, there are some people, they are intelligent. Even though they had no enough regular education, they are intelligent. They can create some new things, new devices to the world, which are very important to the world. And Buddha explained here, the important thing that we have our mind. Our mental condition that decides whether we are happy or unhappy. If we can purify our mind from negative emotions, then we can be happy. Whenever we are unhappy, it means that our mind is polluted with anger, delusion, and desire. That is why Buddha said, as an intelligent person, at the very beginning, we have to overcome negative emotions. Sabba papa sakaranang, not to do any evil. With the understanding of karmic law, we know very well, if our mind is polluted, when we do some things physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the negative results, evil results. We never like it. We never like to worry. We never like to suffer. Therefore, at the very beginning, on the path of liberation, we try to overcome unwholesome emotions, unwholesome activities from our life, physically, verbally or mentally. As much as we can be away from negative emotions, negative activities, then we can overcome suffering. And also not only getting rid of evils, but we generate good emotions in our mind, like generosity, loving kindness, and intelligence. That is very important. Mainly, all unwholesome emotions can be included into three. Can you remember the Lobha, desire, dvesha, anger, and moha, ignorance. All kind of negative emotions which arise our mind can be included into these three things, three categories. And also, we always try to overcome these negative emotions if we like to be happy. And that is why, in the surface level, we try to practice loving kindness when we are going to overcome anger. And also, we practice generosity, offering something to others, giving something to others for the benefits of getting rid of desire or attachment. On the other side, we reflect on the impurity of our body. Asubha Bhavana, the meditation of contemplating on impurity of our body. And if we can control desire or attachment and anger or ill will, then we can overcome more than 40% stress from our mind. But still we have a problem. Because there were some persons when Buddha was living who had eradicated their desire and anger for 84 big eons. Like, there were some ascetic people like Alara Kala Muddakaramaputta. They had eradicated their anger and desire not only 10 years, 100 years, million years, but 84 big eons. Mahakappa, Asuvharadaha. Then they were also not successful in Buddhism. In that environment, in that society, they were successful. But when Buddha appeared in the world, in the Buddhism, they were not successful. Why is that? They didn't have overcome ignorance. That is the thing. After they finished their karmic energy in that Brahma realm, they will have to come back. Sometimes, after they come to the human realm, sometimes they will be reborn in the lower realms, in hells. That is the nature of the world. That is the nature of the samsaric journey. That is why Buddha pointed out the importance of getting rid of ignorance. When Buddha appeared in the world, the people who were in India, they had understood only 5 hindrances, Pancha Nivarana. But after Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha realized, Buddha explained another defilement hindrance, that which is ignorance. 6 ignorance that can be seen in Buddhism. Yes, what is your...
So my question is, they got rid of this defilements for like eons and eons. But as in this society, as we know, like human form like us, because according to our history, our society, we haven't been more than maybe 20,000 years. Before that, we had like the Ice Age, and before that, like the dinosaurs. So was it in a different type of society? Or, because I cannot imagine like eons past.
Eons means it is not in the human realm, it is in the Brahma realms.
Okay.
After they will die, they had to be reborn in the Brahma realms.
Okay.
The age that I explained, not in the human realm, in the Brahma realms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And human realm also, it has another story. From time to time, it is different, the age that we have. You know, it is a very big story, one day we will discuss it. From 10 years, from 10 years, there are another age that we have, the highest age in the human realm, 140 Theros.
Wow.
Asankhya. The age going here and there. According to Buddhism. And 10, 11, 12 like that. 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion. Again and again. 140 zeros. Asankhya. The age in the human realm differs from period to period, from time to time. And it gradually goes here and there as an order. Like when it increases for 100 years, it counts 1 year. අවුරුදු 100කට එකක් වැඩි වෙනවා. When 100 years goes, then, for example, now you know when Buddha was living in the world, the age of the human life is 100. For 100 years, it decreases 1. When 100 years go, then 1 year gradually decrease in our age, in the human realm. Then 99. Like,
So it's every 100 years?
Every 100 years, 1 year decreases. And now, you know, how many years that Buddha has passed away? 2,600 nearly.
26 days.
Now, 100, you know, 26 minus. Then now in the world, the age of the human life is 74. And now the time that is going to down level.
And then change.
Yes, then after change, little by little, after the age of human life goes to 10, then most of people have a fight with weapons, and few people remain in the world. Then they develop their qualities, inner qualities, little by little. Then their age with their qualities gradually increase.
I think that's probably next year, because they said World War III, when that happens, they say the world is going to like this.
Yes, sometimes, but the world destroyed when the people age is 10, but it is not the complete destroyed, and the few people will remain. Sometimes they go to some, you know, guha or caves, and they hide there. And finally, after the war, they come back to the society and they discuss with the people. They develop their qualities, and gradually their qualities increases, and also their age also gradually increases. Little by little, their age go to like that. 100, 1 and 140 zeros. That says Asankhya. You know, when a Buddha appears in the world, the age among from 80 to 80,000. Among these periods, this time Buddhas appear in the world. That is one of the eternal law in the world.
Wow.
And also, a Buddha appears in the world when the age of human life goes down. When the age grows up, a Buddha doesn't appear in the world.
You mean the number of people?
No, the age now little by little going to down level.
Yeah.
Then again the age grows up.
Oh,
When
okay.
age goes up, a Buddha doesn't appear in the world. A Buddha appears in the world when the age grows down, comes down. It is and also an eternal law. There is a big story about that. Not only that, we have to discuss a lot of things. Later we will discuss. This is not our topic. And this is only advertisement. And however, we were discussing the importance of increase in our mind with good qualities, and also the very important thing that we have our mind. We should be aware of our mind. What happens to our mind? With the understanding of karmic law, always we try to overcome big attachment and anger. That is the main purpose of understanding of the karmic law. Understanding of the karmic law in the first level of intelligence or wisdom in Buddhism. As much as we are knowledgeable about the karmic law, we always try to overcome negative emotions from our mind. And we try to generate good emotions by practicing generosity and loving kindness. And also the second level in intelligence, so wisdom, the understanding of the dependent origination or impermanence. With the understanding of the Paticcasamuppada, we understand the impermanence. What happens to our life, the nature of our life. We have 6 senses, and there are 6 external objects which relates to these internal senses. Then when our eye opens, then form is alive, then consciousness is here, then all things are together. I have some experience through my eyes. At that moment, my eyes arises at the moment, the forms arises at the moment, and my consciousness arises at the moment. Everything arises at the moment. It doesn't come to the present from the past. It doesn't go to the future from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment. This is the highest contemplation that we should practice to get rid of suffering completely. With this understanding, when we are ready to get rid of ignorance, then automatically our attachment and anger disappear. They have no space in our mind. If we know this reality, then we have nothing to catch. We have nothing to dislike. Then we are in silence. We have a balanced mind. Then this is the highest thing that we should think. Our every bead should be a meditation technique. Our every breath should be a concentration meditation technique. Our every heartbeat should be a insight meditation technique. Then always we are in samatha and vipassana. Always we are practicing concentration meditation and insight meditation. Especially Buddha has explained the importance of practicing breathing meditation. Buddha said, according to Buddha explained, if you practice breathing meditation, then 4 mindfulness gradually increase. When we are in the fourfold mindfulness, then 7 enlightenment factors gradually increase. When 7 enlightenment factors gradually increase, the other things we can achieve: liberation and understanding. Therefore, Buddha said, I say you only one thing to practice, that is breathing meditation. Before we start breathing meditation, we should have clear understanding about the dependent origination and the fourfold mindfulness, Sakra Satipatthana and Paticcasamuppada. With a clear understanding of the fourfold mindfulness and the dependent origination, if we practice breathing meditation day by day, then gradually we are reaching the final destination. Always we are getting rid of suffering. Buddha explained not the enlightenment, which is invisible. Buddha explained the getting rid of suffering, which is visible. Buddha never explained unseen enlightenment. Buddha explained the seen suffering, which is visible. What is the suffering? When we are away from our relatives, dear and nearest, then we suffer. Then we suffer because of ignorance. And also, when we see something, when we have some kind of experiences through our senses, we think, before that experience it was here. After experience we think, it remains here. That is why the suffering generates. And also, when we see something, we think that it is outside and it is visible for everybody. It is same for everybody. That is one of the ignorances that we have. For example, when you look at this recorder, you may think that this can be experienced by everybody in the same way. But it is not like that. This is experienced by a person according to his mental condition. In a very little kid, a little kid may think that the sound is inside. His or her experience is different. And also, as I mentioned usually that when we see this wall, we can see through the wall. But there are some beings in the world like ghost realm, hungry ghost realm. Sometimes they can see through this wall. Not only they can see, but they can through this wall to outside, according to their senses. According to our senses, we can see through this wall and also we can go through this wall. According to our senses, which are made in our karmic law. When our mental situation, ignorance is different, when it differs, then our experience also different. Then now, when our mom or dad dies, we cry, we may cry. But when we enlighten, even though not only our parents, but our all relatives may die in the same day, but we don't cry. For example, when, as I mentioned before, there was a princess like Bandula Mallika. Her all sons and husband died in the same day. She had the news when she was offering food to the monks. Even though she showed us news, she didn't get suffer. suffering. And if we can understand this world reality, if we have full mindfulness and intelligence at the moment, even though we have all disadvantages in the same time, we don't get angry, we don't cry, because we experience the reality as it is. Then little by little, we have a lot of challenges in our life in the future. The news are coming in the future, the bad news. Sometimes the reports, our medical reports will say that we have big problems in our body. There are some news which comes from outside that our mom is dead and our dad is dead. Our children are sick. Those are the news that we receive in the future. We should be ready to face those challenges. Even though we are well educated, even though we are very rich, we can't face those challenges without suffering. We have only thing that we should practice the Dhamma if we want to overcome these challenges. We can't control them, but we are able to control our mind. We can't control outside. Even though we are very fortunate people, even though we do a lot of meritorious deeds, sometimes we can control outside. Sometimes not only outside, but we can't control our body, our health. Even though we practice Dhamma day by day, our body is going to old age. We are reaching death. That is the reality of our life. If we can develop our mind with spirituality, even though we are sick physically, we are healthy mentally. We have no suffering mentally. Even though we are going to old age, physically we are old, but mentally we don't suffer. One day we are subject to die. At that day, we don't suffer if we have developed our mind with the spirituality, with the understanding of the mindfulness and intelligence. That is why Buddha said, there are 4 big rocks which are coming to 4 directions to our life. What they are? Illness, aging, death and rebirth. These are the big rocks which are coming to our life every moment, whether we like or not, whether we knew or not. This is the reality. At that moment, we have no other refuge without practicing Dhamma. We have no place to hide. Everybody is safest. Then only person who has a refuge, who practice Dhamma. And for that is why Buddha said, in the conventional truth, according to karmic law, day by day, we should try to develop 3 meritorious deeds. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Practicing generosity, morality, or discipline in our speech and behavior, and meditation. When we practice these meritorious deeds, we decorate our mind, and also we generate our longevity, good complexion, health. With using these facilities, benefits, advantages, we do not only taking care of our children or parents, We do not only feed our children, but we practice Dhamma, having these benefits. Every moment we try to develop our mind with mindfulness and wisdom. Mindfulness and wisdom, mindfulness and concentration is like our breathing. And thinking of or contemplating on our heartbeat is like contemplating on impermanence. Then every moment try to practice concentration and wisdom. That is the only protection, only refuge, only safety that we have in our life while we are doing other things. We should not away from other things. We have to fulfill our duties in the name of our parents and our children, our relatives. We have to do a lot of things. While we are fulfilling our duties and responsibilities in our day-to-day life, we should understand we have the real refuge that practicing Dhamma. Even though we have children, one day they go away. Even though we have parents, one day they will die. Even though we have a lot of friends, one day they go away. Even though we have good complexion, healthy body, one day this is going to old age. This is going to sicknesses. This is the reality. Whenever we have healthy life, intelligence, strength, then we get the benefits for practicing Dhamma. And day by day, we should increase the duration that we practice concentration meditation. Not only when we are in the temple or in the sitting room, but everywhere we do anything. While we are do anything in our day-to-day life from morning to night, then we should be aware of that practicing something in our mind. Practicing loving kindness, practicing the Buddha's qualities, practicing the, breathing meditation. These are the techniques that we can use to control our mind. Then our happiness gradually increases. And always we try to be in mindfulness, contemplating on our body and mind. What happens to my mind and body? Every moment we are aware of our mind and body. We don't give any chance to defilements. Every moment we protect our mind. We don't give any chance to anybody which disturb our peace of mind. Then we protect our mind like our baby, like a flower, like our only son or daughter. We always protect our mind. We don't disturb our peace of mind. And the reason is that the very important thing in our life is mind. If we can take care of our mind, it means we can protect our happiness. And also, we should decorate our mind by practicing good deeds. And when we practice Dhamma, when we think our life, we should have a lot of deeds that we have done in the meritorious names. That I have taken care of my parents, I have helped inner persons, I have helped my husband or wife, I have helped virtuous persons, monks and elders. Then I have donated my blood. When we think those activities that we have done, then it is like a light. Those meritorious activities are like lights. Then everywhere they are flashing. When we think our life, then our life is fulfilled with merits, more merits, more happiness. no merits, no happiness. Then on the other side, especially, we should practice mindfulness, living in the present moment. That is very important thing. We should increase the duration that we live in the present moment with mindfulness. As I mentioned before, it is like our GPA, grade point average. And day by day, we should be intelligent. We should be clever to develop or increase the duration that we practice concentration meditation. And also with concentrated mind, always we should try to reflect on impermanence. When I hear some sounds, you know very well that sound arises at the moment, immediately it ceases. When you think something about your mom or dad or children or parents, anybody, then you may think that now I read my mind, not the real situation. That mental condition arises at the moment, that immediately it ceases. And we usually think the previous experience. When we hear something, even though you may think that now the vehicle which is going on the street, I am hearing that sound. Actually, when you recognize that sound, it is a previous experience. It is not the present experience. When you realize that is the sound of a vehicle, it is not the present experience.
But my main concern is like when you said to protect your mind and your peacefulness, don't let this other defilements disturb you, is at the same time that you're thinking about impermanence and you're mindful, if something happens and disturbs you, you say, okay, that's not permanent, it's impermanent. But I mentioned this before, but I'd like to mention it again. So if something is constantly disturbing you, it is okay for you to protect your mind, to get away from that situation. For example, let's say you're in your house, but then next door they open a bar. And then every night they're making noise and there's a lot of music, whatever. And you can't sleep, you can't concentrate, you can't meditate. In that situation, it's okay for you to move away in order to protect your mind or your peace, and you keep your life, or should you be there like suffering and listening to them?
Yes, actually reflecting on impermanence in outside, actually it is in the primary step. Then when you hear something outside, you may think that it is outside. For example, when somebody is shouting, when somebody is playing, you may think that it is boring, it is disturbed for me. But there is another person who is next to you. He is happy. He is also doing like, he is singing. But you are worried. Then do you think that the suffering comes from outside?
I guess it depends, because let's say if I'm trying to meditate and then they're making noise in a bar next door, and if it's once, okay, but if it's every night and I cannot do what I'm trying to do, I say, okay, that's going to stay for a while.
Yes, actually it is true. It is true. In this level, we think that the suffering or disturbance comes from outside.
Right.
We may think that. But actually, suffering or happiness doesn't come from outside. It arises according to our mental conditions. If it is boring or suffering, other person who is next to you should be maybe suffering. But he doesn't suffer. But because of your point of view, you may think that it is disturbed for my meditation. But he may think that it is useful for his music class. Sometimes he is going for a music class in PCC. He may think that it is useful his class. He is getting some benefits from that music. But it arises, the experience arises according to our point of view. If we can understand, actually it is disturbed for you because of for your meditation. But it happens according to our mental conditions. Whatever we experience through our senses, even though we have some material things or some incident in outside, the thing happens inside, according to 5 aggregates. When we hear something, when we smell something, when we see something, here 5 aggregates arise inside. According to our 5 aggregates, I may think that it is disturbed for me. But according to his 5 aggregates, he may think that it is a benefit for him. But when we go to the deeper level, if we have that kind of experience, we may think that it is good for me to reflect on impermanence. Then my 5 aggregates have arisen. Then these 5 aggregates arises at the moment and immediately it ceases. If we can understand in this way, inside, then we may think that it is a good chance for me to develop my concentration. Not only concentration meditation that we practice insight meditation too. Insight meditation is different from concentration meditation. When somebody is disturbing you, then you can think, you can reflect on it according to insight meditation. It is not like that you do closing your eyes, opening your eyes. You can reflect on impermanence at that moment. It is one of the meditation techniques. And it is a big disturb. You can practice loving kindness meditation. Then you may think those people like your children. Actually, sometimes they were your close relatives and friends in your previous lives. Even though now they are away from you. All people in the world, according to Buddhism, they were our close relatives and friends. If we can practice loving kindness, then we can overcome our anger. If we are not clever to reflect on insight meditation directly, we can use primary meditation techniques. Then, there are iron shop, iron workers shop. Some people do some, create some weapons and knives and those. They use all materials in the workshop. They don't give up anything. They use everything for their instruments. Like that, we also use everything that we experience through our life as meditation techniques. If we are intelligent, that is the good place that you can check your concentration. That is the good place where you can check your success of meditation, success of loving kindness meditation.
I have tried, but I think when you experience it, to the point that it's disturbed, that you can't do anything anymore, I think the sutta that we studied before, if it's disturbing you, just go away. Because let's say, for example, you're in your house, you're trying to sleep. Let's say you're going to wake up 5 in the morning. They start, let's say, from 9, the bar, from 9 until 4 in the morning. You can't sleep, and you have to wake up at 5.
Actually, I can understand. Sometimes we also have the same problem. For example, when I am doing this class, sometimes some persons who are next to door, and at that home, they shout. Sometimes I go and explain them. We are doing a class here, please be silent. We are recording here. Your noise comes here, please be silent. Then actually they listening to what we say. Sometimes we can control them. And if we can control, with using our intelligence, we can get some decisions.
Right.
But we should not be hurry. And with using some techniques, using our intelligence, using our education, we can get some decisions. It doesn't mean that always we should be silent. Sometimes we have to get some decisions. Yes, sometimes we have to call to police too. Sometimes we have to do. Then actually, although we do it in the proper way, correct way.
Because I remember there was one of the suttas, they said like when Buddha was in the forest and he knew there was some hunters coming, he knew that if they saw him that they were going to disturb him, maybe try to kill him, so he moved to a different place. And then he's meditating and then they come, he goes to a different place. So in order to keep his practice.
Actually, we also have same experience, that there are some small islets in our country.
Islands?
Islets. Island, small island.
Oh, okay.
Islets.
Yeah.
Around the water, middle of the water. Then sometimes fishermen come to the near the monastery, and midnight they shout, they do some activities loudly. Sometimes monks go to near them by riding a boat, and they advise them, please go away, go far. Actually they are listening what we say. They obey it. And sometimes there are some lakes near the monastery. Sometimes some fishermen come. Sometimes monks advise. Sometimes they don't listen. Then monks call to police. Then they come and remove them. Yes, we also have the same problem, but we should be intelligent. If we do some activities with anger, then they may disturb us more.
Yes.
Therefore, we should be careful. We are innocent. We have no weapons. We have no other things. Then sometimes they may hit us. Sometimes they may kill us. Therefore, we should be intelligent. We should be kind. Because especially the people who are around the monastery, they prepare the food for us. They are devotees. Actually, in night time they do the fishing, and next day they will prepare the fish and come to them. Actually, they are innocent people. Then, therefore, we have to use some things in the proper way. Okay. Then, actually, it is your question. Actually, it is very practicable. This thing, we always, not only lay people, but we monks also face the same problem. But however, we always should be very careful, because we don't get some decisions with anger. That is a big problem. Especially as a person, we know the Dhamma, we know the karmic law. Therefore, we should be patient. Mostly we should be patient more than they do, because we know the Dhamma. We know the karmic law. Therefore. And also, even though we have a lot of problems, lot of issues, that this is a very great opportunity for us to practice Dhamma. We should not miss this very valuable opportunity. And among the problems, sometimes not only external problems, but sometimes we are sick physically. While we are having some medicine, we have to practice Dhamma. We don't know whether we are near to die. Therefore, every second is very important in this valuable life, especially when the Buddha appeared in the world. Therefore, every moment we should try to practice Dhamma. Okay, today we discuss the 4 types of people in the world. One of them is Tamo-tama-parayana, one in darkness who is headed for darkness. And second person, Tamo-jyoti-parayana, one in darkness who is headed for light. The third one, Jyoti-tama-parayana, one in light who is headed for darkness. Fourth one, Jyoti-jyoti-parayana, one in light who is headed for light. And we people can be included in the fourth group, that one in light who is headed for light. And we were born with many facilities, with a healthy body. And therefore, we should understand our previous karma. That is why we are here. Because of our previous good karmas, we received a lot of benefits in this life. By using these virtuous benefits, every moment we should dedicate our life for practicing Dhamma, cultivating our mind. Even though there are a lot of doctrines in Buddhism, finally Buddha has explained, as an intelligent person, we have to practice only two, that samatha or concentration and vipassana, insight meditation. Then ultimately, if we practice only thin, that is panya or impermanence, then all other qualities gradually increase. If we can reflect only impermanence, arising and ceasing, every moment, then every moment we are getting rid of suffering. Every moment we are overcoming suffering.
Sometimes I hear like dependent origination, like the Paticca-samuppada, sometimes anicca, impermanence. I feel like there's a little bit of difference, or?
Paticca-samuppada is the theory. That is the system. And impermanence is the way how practice. For example, mechanism or the mechanism of the vehicle is like Paticca-samuppada. Driving is like practicing impermanence. And in the dependent origination, we should be aware of the dependent origination. We should have a clear understanding about the mechanism of arising suffering. Then the practical way of impermanence. For example, Paticca-samuppada is like an address or destination or route. And according to map, according to address, we are going on the street, driving or riding. That is like practicing impermanence, suffering and egolessness. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Without the knowledge of Paticca-samuppada, we have no clear understanding about the impermanence, how we practice it. Even though we have effort, even though you have courage, even though you run fast, if you don't have the map or address, your effort is useless. And understanding of impermanence, so understanding of dependent origination also like that. Before we start the journey of the purification or liberation, we should have clear understanding about the process of suffering, arising of suffering. And they can go away from the circle of the Paticca-samuppada. Then everything is interrelated. dependent origination, impermanence, Four Noble Truths, everything is interrelated. When we understand Paටිsamuppada or dependent origination, we understand Four Noble Truths. The Noble Truth of suffering, the Noble Truth of arising of suffering, the Noble Truth of cessation of suffering, the Noble Truth of path that leads to cessation of suffering. Those 5 things, understanding of those 5 things depends on understanding of the dependent origination. When we understand dependent origination, we understand Four Noble Truths. Then we understand how we practice Eightfold Path. And we have courage practicing Eightfold Path. Then Eightfold Path also can be summarized into 3. Virtue, concentration, and wisdom. And everything is interrelated. If we can, that is why there is a very special discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, Sammaditthi Sutta, the discourse of right understanding. Buddha said, if somebody understands avidya, he has a good knowledge how to overcome suffering. When somebody understands sankhara or mental formations, he is knowledgeable how to overcome suffering. When somebody understands 6 senses, then he understands how to overcome suffering. There are 16 ways, paths, that how we clear the path of liberation. Not only 16, but 1,000 methods, ways, paths that we can see to achieve Sotapanna or first level of the spirituality. 1,000 methods, 1,000 paths.
It all leads to suffering and
Yes.
suffering.
Everything is focused on getting rid of suffering. If we understand ignorance, we can overcome suffering. If we can understand feelings, 6 feelings, we can understand the liberation, getting rid of suffering. If we understand mind or consciousness, 6 consciousness, that is also that we are knowledgeable about getting rid of suffering. If we understand the external objects, then we are ready to understand the reality. However, the foundation is the dependent origination, arising and ceasing. Okay, and we discussed the 4 persons according to Tamo-tama-parayana Sutta, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya. Here we discuss 4 types of people in the world. One is who is in darkness and he is headed for darkness. And one in darkness who headed for light. One in light who is headed for darkness. One in light who is headed for light. And we people should be in light who are headed for lights. Day by day we reach the lights. That should be our main goal in our valuable life. Okay, for that we should try to practice it day by day and get the result from this valuable life. For that I wish you all the best. And by the power of all these merits, you may be well, happy and peaceful. At the same time, we are going to transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. By the power of all these merits that we acquired at the moment, may our departed relatives receive these merits and may they also enhance their spiritual energy. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits our departed relatives too. Idamme ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnam hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. May they enhance their divine energy, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. May they keep their eye on you too. With that intention, let's transfer these merits, guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. May all of attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantāca nidbhayam sokam pantāca nissokā antu sambe pipānino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.